Hey guys, hope your day's been very good. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be doing a video that I'm super excited about, and I've been looking forward to do it since this month started basically, and now we're on the last day of 2024 and of December, and it's my 2024 reading wrap up of just all of the books that I've read throughout the entire year. Every single one, and we're just going to be talking about them today. But first, I wanted to say a few things before I actually get started talking about them, and one is that this isn't going to include spoilers. If you haven't read the books, you don't need to skip through it unless you're one of those people that doesn't want to know anything about it at all, because I will be talking about the plot obviously and what I liked about it, just without spoiling anything. Basically, that's just the only thing I wanted to go over. So, next thing is just me. I've never done this before, so it's I've gone over books before, but not like this, and I'm just I don't know what I'm doing. Because I'm trying to think of what other people in other videos say, but I can't think of it right now. But, anyways, I read a total of 37 books in 2024, but I will be going over 42? I don't know. Yeah. No. 41, I think, books in the video, because I have 2 that I'm reading currently, and I have 2 that I didn't read in 2024. I read it in 2023, but it's still in the same series, so I'm still going to talk about it. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. Alrighty, so first we have, and this is the series I was just talking about, but we have the Twisted series. Alright, and don't mind the annotations, because this is the way that I used to annotate, but then I switched it up. This has so many annotations, and they're all grouped together in different colors too. Anyways, so don't mind that. And the only one out of these that I actually read in 2024 are these 2, Twisted Hate and Twisted Lies, because I was in the middle towards the end of Twisted Hate when the new year started last year. So let's go ahead and get started. All of that was my second time trying to film this video, because I was being so weird and annoying and not knowing what I was talking about the first time, and I feel like it's almost just as bad this time, but it's okay. Bear with me, please. So, the first book in the Twisted series is called Twisted Love, and this book follows Alex and Ava, and it is brother's best friend. It is Grumpy X Sunshine, and I feel like this is the most Grumpy Sunshine book ever, because he literally calls her Sunshine. All the characters in the series have cute little nicknames for the girls, and it's amazing and one of my favorite things about it. But basically, the plot of this book is we start out and Ava is in the rain. She's coming back from something. I don't remember what she's coming back from, but it was from something. I think it had to do with photography or something, because she's a photographer. I don't know though. And she called her brother Josh, and she was like, hey, I need you to come and get me because it's raining and I don't want to walk. But he was busy. He was in the middle of doing something with a girl. So he sends Alex to come and pick her up. So then he comes and gets her, and it's just kind of weird. And we find out from Ava's inner monologue that they've known each other for 8 years, but they've only said 2 words to each other, okay? The entire time that they've known each other, even though he spent every holiday with them. And yeah, so fast forward a little bit, and Josh is leaving, okay? He needs to go, and he is doing something for his job. I don't remember where exactly he went, but he went somewhere. So him being a super overprotective brother, he is like, hey, Alex, I need you to take care of my sister while I'm gone. So he does that. And Alex also moves into Josh's house, which is right next door to Ava's for some reason, which is kind of weird, because why are you neighbors? But he moves in, and then they end up spending a lot of time together, obviously, and they fall in love. So that's the plot of that book. Sorry I did so bad at explaining it, but look up trigger warnings. It is very, very spicy. This entire series is very spicy. And so if you don't like that, then don't read this book. And I gave this book, I believe it is a 5-star. I believe this entire series is a 5-star except for Twisted Hate, not gonna lie. Twisted Lies might not be a 5-star either. But, so that's the first book. And then Twisted Games, I love this book with my entire heart and soul. This one I would even try and go as far as to say that it might be a 6-star, especially recently because I've been thinking about this book a lot for some reason. I'm not sure why. Okay, so now we're on to Twisted Games. I did such a bad job at explaining this somehow that I had to like start over, and I'm gonna just edit the first explanation out because I don't know what that was. But this book, all the series follows the same 4 girls in the friend group, and each book is a different girl, and they met in college. So second book follows Bridget, and she is a princess, and she ends up getting a new bodyguard who we see a little bit of in Twisted Love because her last bodyguard had to leave and be with his family because like his wife had a baby or something like that. So she gets this new bodyguard and they fall in love eventually. And it was actually the best thing ever, and I loved it so much. There's this one scene at the end, I'm not going to say anything to spoil it, but it was so cute, and I like get kind of emotional sometimes when I think about it. And also I've heard that this is like the Princess Diaries because Anna Hong said in a interview that the reason why it's so much like Princess Diaries, because people have been saying that, is because she just finished binge watching that when she wrote this book. So if you like Princess Diaries, read this. I've never seen it, but that's just what people have been saying and I've heard. Okay, third book, Twisted Hate, the one that I was in the middle of starting 2024. This book, it is best friend's brother this time, and it follows Josh and Jules, and they have absolutely hated each other ever since Jules and Ava were in college because she overheard him saying something and it hurt her feelings, and he thinks she's a troublemaker, so they just hate each other, and they both have commitment issues, and it's a fun time. And basically, what makes them not hate each other anymore is they decide that they find each other attractive, and they do start doing an enemies with benefits scenario, and then obviously things escalate and they fall in love. And this one is my least favorite of the series. This one I believe is a 3 stars. I didn't write it down, but wait, did I? I did. Yeah, it's a 3 stars. And yeah, I don't really know. I just think it was kind of boring and just not my favorite, but I still really liked it. And I still did annotate it a lot, so I guess that's still kind of a good sign. Now let's move on to the 4th and final book of the series, Twisted Lies. And this follows Stella and then Christian, who was the guy who owned the security company that Reese and Twisted Games worked for. And so we had already seen him a little bit there in Twisted Hate. And basically, this is fake dating, and what happened is that Christian also owns the building that Stella lives in. I'm like trying to think how it actually happened. But, oh, yeah. She wanted to hit 1 million followers on her Instagram because she's a social media influencer. But she noticed that the only way people were gaining attention on social media nowadays was if they had a boyfriend. So she asked Christian to fake date her, and he said yes. So, yeah, that's how that started. And it's just really fun. It's a 4-star though, and honestly, it might be a 5-star. But not even because of the actual romance, just because we got so many friend group moments in this book out of all of them. And yeah, again, very spicy. Alrighty, let's move on and let's hope that let's get these back in order, but let's hope that maybe I'll be better at talking about the other books, and it will just get better as we go along in the video because I am so bad at this. Okay, so the next book that I read in 2024 the Twisted series I got for Christmas last year, and so did this and the next book after it. And this book, you've probably seen it everywhere, like most of the books in the video, but still. this book is very, very sad. And I'm not going to tell you why because I don't really think it's a spoiler, but just in case. And basically it follows our two characters, Poppy and Rune, and they were childhood best friends, and they had known each other like their entire lives. And when they were like 8 years old, so basically when she was like 5 or something, her grandma died and gave her the jar of, and said, "This is for 1,000 boy kisses. It's for when you get kisses from a boy that are so electrifying and amazing that you just have so many thoughts, and you're going to write down those thoughts and who it was with and put it in this jar and keep it forever." So Poppy had the jar and she decided she was going to do that, but she didn't know when to start. So when she was like 8 years old, she was telling Rune about this, and he just kissed her, and it was kind of weird because they were only 8, but it was fine and it was still cute, even though they weren't really acting like they were 8 years old. But it's okay. And it was just really cute. And then we time skip to when they're older, and they're 15 now, and they're still together in an actual relationship now, and they're so in love and cute. But then Rune has to move away, and then things are going well for the first 2 months that he's gone. They're still texting. More books fell, but they're still texting each other, and everything is going great. But then she mysteriously stops talking to him, and he's like, "What did I do?" And then he comes back and moves again 2 years later when they're 17, and he finds out why she stopped talking to him. They get back together, and that's all I'm going to say about it. I believe I already said that was a 5-star read. Alrighty. Whew. Archer's Voice. So Archer's Voice, I kind of have slight beef with this book just because the expectations I was going in were like all the way up here, but that's what kind of made me not like the book as much. Like, I liked it when I was reading it, but now I don't really care about it as much. But I did annotate it a lot, so at least that's like a good thing. But basically, I had seen a video with Sunny Kim Reads on YouTube, if you've seen her, and she said that the couple in this book was the best like love story she had ever read in her entire life. So that's the expectations that I was going in with, and the only reason I added this to my like list of the book I wanted, and I was just kind of disappointed, but it's okay. So this book follows Archer and Brianna. Her name was Brianna, right? Or was it like Brianna? I think it was Brianna. Anyways, so it follows them, and Brianna has like trauma, so she was like moving out of her town, and she moved to this small town where everyone knows everyone, to like, and she was just supposed to stay there for a couple months, but then she ended up staying, obviously. But basically, Brianna has trauma. She just moved to the small town. And then there's Archer. He can't talk because of something that happened in his childhood when he was like 7, I think is how old he was. And it's just like a whole thing because everyone thinks like, oh, it's because he's deaf. No, he isn't deaf. He just has something damaged to his vocal cords. That's why he can't talk. And like, she learns sign language for him, and it's just like really cute. And they were really cute, but still, I was disappointed, but it's fine because it was okay. Also, maybe search up trigger warnings for this book, and maybe this one too. I don't really know, but definitely this one. And all of the Twisted books as well. I only said it for Twisted Love, but probably all of them. You need it because they're crazy. Like, it's a minor dark romance. Like, it's not actually a dark romance, but if you want to start, like, dipping your toe into dark romance, that would be a book to read. Alrighty, next we have Say You'll Be Mine, and this is a book that I just picked up at the grocery store at BJ's because they have books there. And I do kind of remember this book, but I don't remember any cute moments that the couple had. I just remember the plot, and I never think about this book, but it's okay because I do have a lot of highlighted stuff in it, so it had to be kind of cute, right? I've said that for so many of them, but you get it. So You'll Be Mine follows Meghna, and then I'm going to have to read, and Karthik, yep, that's his name. I had to look in the back for that one. So Meghna and Karthik, they are both getting pressured by their families and just everyone to find the love of their life and get married. And the guy, Karthik, his parents have been trying to set him up with arranged marriages for so long. And he, like, agreed that he would, like, I don't remember, but he agreed that he would find the love of his life soon or something like that. I don't really remember. But basically, he was set up with Meghna to go on dates and see if they would get married. So then they pretended that they were gonna actually get engaged. So it wasn't a fake dating turned real dating, it was fake engagement turned to real engagement. And it was kind of fun. And one thing that I remember from this book and it's like the only thing that I ever think about when it comes to this book, is they were talking with their parents. Apparently their parents knew this whole time that they weren't actually together, but then one of their moms was like, you know, this means that we actually successfully arranged your marriage, right? And then they were like, yeah. So that's kind of fun. But yeah. And I also remember she, like, was a teacher for, like, a drama teacher, and she, like, did plays. How many times have I said, like, just talking about this one book? I don't know. But it's fine. So this is a good book. I'd recommend it, but it's just not anything special that stuck out to me is all. Ooh. Now here's a book that did stick out to me. I had to pick it up from where it fell on the floor, but the next book I read, it's crazy that we're already in, like, May. Well, not May, but, like, April. I've read so slow. Well, we might be in March. I don't know. We're just in springtime already from when I read these. And this is the first book that we have on here where I annotated it this way. Kind of looks even more like a hot mess, but it's okay because that means I like the book. Anyway, Better Than the Movies. You've probably seen this one everywhere also. And this follows Wes and Liz. And I'm just going to get it straight. This is not an enemies to lovers book. They didn't even hate each other that much. They were just slightly annoyed with each other. And he didn't even hate her. She just hated him. So, anyways. It just kind of annoys me when people say it's enemies to lovers because it's not. But basically, they've known each other their entire lives also. They've gone to the same school since kindergarten stuff. And they fight over a parking spot. And he used to rip off the heads of her Barbie dolls and hang them in the ceiling fan and all these different things to terrorize her, and, like, let a frog loose in her Barbie dream house, just all these things. But then when they were a senior in high school, her old crush from, like, 5th grade that moved away comes back into town and goes back to the school, and her feelings for him immediately come back to Michael. That's the name of the guy. Her feelings for Michael is completely back. And she just doesn't know what to do with herself and just wants him to like her. So she ends up asking Wes to help her because they're friends. And so he does exactly that, tries to make him jealous, changes her outfits up and tells her what she needs to wear and all of these things. But then she ends up catching feelings for Wes. And it's really cute. So, and this is a 5-star read for me. There's a lot of 5-star. I read a lot of good books. But it's just really cute and I like it. And this one doesn't have any spice in it. I've been forgetting to say that, but Archer's Voice had spice. Say You'll Be Mine, I don't remember, but I don't think it did. It might have though. And 1,000 Boy Kisses doesn't. It's Closed Door instead. Yeah. Fun book. Okay, now the next book that I read was Yours Truly, and this is a part of the series called the Part of Your World series, the first book being Part of Your World, but I haven't read that book, and this is also in the same series as Just for the Summer as well, and it's the second book. And yeah, we see the couple from Part of Your World in this a little bit, but not too much, so it isn't confusing, it's fine. You can still read it without reading the first book. Everything's okay because it's interconnected standalones. So basically this book follows Brianna, I don't really care, and Jacob. And Jacob has social anxiety, just like me. He was really relatable throughout this entire book. But, so, he has social anxiety, and they are both doctors, and working at the same hospital. And her brother, and this isn't a spoiler because it's in the back of the book, but her brother has like something wrong with his kidneys. And he needs a kidney donated to him, or else he's going to continue being sick and not well, and he's like depressed and such. And basically what happens is, first, Jacob and Brianna start writing letters to each other. That's why it's called Yours Truly. And they start writing these letters because at first he wanted to apologize for acting so weird when they met the first time and kind of being like rude, but he didn't want to in person because he was scared. So they started writing letters to each other and were getting along and started following each other on social media and texting there. And then he decides that he wants to donate the kidney to her brother, but it's going to be anonymous. But then she ends up finding out about it right away. And she gets really excited and is like, oh my gosh, how could I ever repay you? So he's like, well, actually, my older brother is dating my ex-girlfriend, and they're about to get married, and everybody thinks I'm like sad over it or whatever. So I need everybody to think that I am perfectly fine and normal. So can you please be my fake girlfriend? She's like, of course, I'll do anything for you because you made my life so much easier. Then they started doing that. And then obviously things escalate. It turns real. This book also does not have any spice in it. And before we move on, this was also a 5-star read. Okay, so then the next book that I started in 2023 in like October, but I didn't finish it until it was 2024 because I stopped reading it because I didn't understand what was going on or comprehending it, because that's what happens with books that aren't romance. And so I just continued it. And honestly, this book I haven't given a rating because I don't remember anything about it or comprehend it, so it doesn't get one. But from what I do know about this book is that it's a fantasy book. They all have like powers, and there's 6 people in a, well, they're not really friends, but it's these 6 people who are like misfits or whatever, and people don't really like them. They go and they decide they need to go on an adventure to stop some evil people that are doing bad things. I don't really remember what, but somebody was doing something. So they go and they go on a heist to rob a bank, and they break one of the characters out of jail. It's fun, and there is like the tiniest bit of romance in it. One thing though is that you need to read you're supposed to read the Shadow of Bone trilogy before you read Six of Crows. I didn't do that, hence why I was so lost and confused on the world building of this book. So just make sure you do that, or don't. I don't care. I'm so excited. We're moving on to my first babies. And that is a series. I just need to get them in order. Whew. We have Off Campus. It is not in order. What? What did I do? Hold on. You got it. There you go. Now it's in order. We got Off Campus. I'm so excited. I can't wait to talk about these. Oh my goodness. Okay, in case you couldn't tell my reaction, this is a 5-star series for me. Alrighty. Let's just go over all of these really quickly. So first, we have The Deal. This follows Hannah and Garrett. Hannah is a singer, Garrett is a hockey player, and he's the captain of the hockey team. And all of these books follow the different people on the hockey team, and they all live in the same house. They're all like in the same friend group. Each book is a different guy with just other girls at the college at Briar University. Anyways, Hannah and Garrett. So basically what happens is it starts out, we're in school, Hannah's in class, and she's staring at Justin Cole because she's like in love with him, she's obsessed with him, she has a really big crush on Justin Cole, okay? And she just wants him to like her. It's like with Better Than the Movies with Liz and Michael and stuff. So, and there was a test. there's a test. Everybody in the class failed the test, except for Hannah. And Garrett notices that Hannah has a good grade on her test. And that interests him because he failed the test. And the teacher is letting the class do a redo since everyone failed it. But if he fails the redo, he can't play hockey anymore because his grade will go like pew. So he needs some help. So he tries to get Hannah to tutor him. Except the problem here is that Hannah just really does not want to do it. She hates him. Like, she thinks that he's really cocky and annoying and just obnoxious. So she's like, absolutely not. So he just keeps bothering her, following her to her work and all these other things to beg her to do it. But what really gets her attention is at a party, Garrett notices her little crush on Justin Cole. And he's like, okay, well, if you help me study for this midterm and you tutor me, then I will help you get with Justin Cole. I will do exactly that. So that's what ended up happening, and they, things escalated again, and they, kissed, and then did other things, and that's just what led to them falling in love. And it's just a really good book, and I love this entire series so much, and I can't wait for the TV show. Anyways, so, and this book is also very spicy, dear to my heart. I'm gonna cry. I love all of this so much. Now we have The Mistake. This one is actually 4 stars just because it's a little bit forgettable, at least to me. But this follows Grace and Logan. Logan is Garrett's best friend in the entire world. Grace is a freshman while they're juniors at the college. And basically what happens here is that Logan is trying to go to a party at someone's dorm room, but he accidentally knocks on Grace's door. And she opens the door and is like, they all figure out that he's at the wrong door. And then, since he doesn't have his phone with him and can't call anybody and doesn't know the number of anybody to call it on her phone, and there's no Ubers available for him to do it, they end up just sitting on her bed and watching a movie, and then they almost kiss already, I know. And then they just have a little fling going on, and it's really cute until he messes up. He messes up, and then for months they're not talking to each other, and then he has to try and get her back, and she sends him an entire list of things that he needs to do, including writing her a love poem, making a collage of photos, taking a picture of him shirtless on this fancy red couch thing that I forgot what it was called, and get her a call with her favorite celebrity. And he ended up completing all of those things. Okay. The score. This follows Dean and Allie. Allie is also Hannah's best friend. We saw her before. And she ends up breaking up with her boyfriend Sean because he just isn't supporting her dreams of becoming a famous actress in New York and just really does not want to do that. So they got into a fight and they broke up. And she's just really worried that he's going to show up to her house. So he's like, okay, Hannah, I need some place to stay because, you're my roommate, but you're going to be on this double date trip with Garrett and Grace and Logan and then just don't know what to do. So Hannah was like, oh, well, Garrett said that you could just stay in his bedroom. I mean, Dean and Tucker are going to be there, but it's fine. And then she was like, oh, okay, I'll do that. But then she shows up and only Dean is there because Tucker is gone doing his own thing. So they spend their night together and they end up having sex. And just things escalate and they end up having a secret fling that they're keeping from everybody because they were told specifically to not get involved with each other. And also Dean is our classic player out of the series. So we love that for him. And he's also super rich and stuff too. He had his own thing going on. And also there's a great plot twist in the middle of the book that destroys everyone's hearts. It's fun. Then we have the 4th regular book of Off Campus, and that is The Goal. And this follows Sabrina and Tucker, and it is accidental pregnancy, but it's good. I promise you it's good. I know most people hate accidental pregnancy. I don't know why. I've always liked it, but that's basically just the plot of the book. They have a fling at the beginning of the book. And the time frame of this and the score does overlap, by the way, so that's kind of something different. But they have a fling, a one-night stand in the beginning of the book. She gets pregnant for the first time, but then they don't find out until like 2 months later. And it's just really fun, and they have to deal with that. Dean was kind of a jerk about it because he hates Sabrina, and it was just a fun book. And I don't really know what else to say without spoiling anything. But Tucker was my favorite when I read this book, but now I feel like I'm getting corrupted by all of the TikTok girls, and it's like Dean or Garrett is about to be my favorite. But I just really love Tucker when I was reading this. Like, he calls her darling in a southern accent, and it's really fun. And then next I read The Legacy, except it's kind of out of order because technically the way you should do it is those 4. And then you should read the Briar U series, which is a spinoff, and then you should read The Legacy. But I didn't do that. I jumped straight into it because I thought that's what you were supposed to do. The Legacy isn't a book about a new couple like I thought it was before, but instead has a bunch of novellas of all 4 couples 3 years after they graduate from school and what they're doing now, and it's just really fun. A lot of people say they don't like this book, but I gave it a 5 stars and I just really liked it. And I love seeing what they were up to 3 years after graduation. And then I messed up orders again by straight getting into The Graham Effect, which you're not supposed to read until Briar U is over with, also, and The Legacy both. So, I just jumped straight into The Graham Effect, and this is about Hannah and Garrett's daughter, Gigi, and she is also going to Briar U and is a hockey player now. And she meets this guy, Luke Ryder, and he's kind of a jerk to her and kind of mean, but he also wants to get in Garrett's good graces and wants to be able to, like, co-teach at this camp thingy, but Garrett just doesn't really like him at the moment because he kind of has a bad reputation with beating people up and things. So he wants that, and then Gigi needs help with her hockey skills and just being a goalie because that's something she's kind of struggling with. So he offers to help her, and then things kind of escalate really quickly. Again, spicy, spicy, spicy. All of Elle Kennedy's books are spicy, okay? So, just, yeah. And also, I didn't say it before, but check trigger warnings for all of these, like the deal, the mistake, the score, all of it. This too. Just look up trigger warnings. Okay. 5-star read. This was my favorite book for such a long time, and Luke Ryder was my #1 book boyfriend until I was introduced to Joey Lynch. So I feel like that says a lot. He was just the best, and I love this book a lot. Then I finally read Briar U. So first we have The Chase. This book, I did not like it. I am so sorry. I gave this book like a 2-star because the thing is, we got little snippets of Fitzy and Summer, which is Dean's sister, in the other books, and I thought that it was going to be a cute little enemies to lovers. She likes him, but he doesn't like her book, but no, because it gets thrown into her face that, oh, actually, just kidding, he does like her, he's just scared of Dean. And he keeps playing games because of his fear of Dean, and I would kind of recommend it, but not really. Like, I feel like you can just skip this one if you want to, so I don't know. I just didn't really like it. I don't like Fitzy. He's my least favorite boy out of Briar U, and I just like, blah. But then next we have The Risk. I know I didn't even really explain the plot to this one, but I feel like there wasn't really much of a plot, so, oh well, I guess there kind of was. Summer moves into the house with Fitzy and Hunter and Mike Hollis, and yeah, that's about it. I don't even know. But then we have The Risk. The plot for this one absolutely eats. I love it so much, and I love Jake Connolly. So, follows Jake and Brenna. Brenna is the hockey coach at Briar U's daughter. Jake Connolly is the Harvard hockey captain, which is their rival team. So it's like a whole thing. They're not supposed to be together. It's also fake dating. And just, I'm not going to explain it because it's just the basic fake dating trope again. Like, some guy is talking to her and she looks uncomfortable, but it's not because of the guy, it's because she sees Jake there, but he thinks it's because of the guy. So he comes up, wraps his arms around her and is like, hey, and pretends to be her boyfriend, and then they just continue doing it for funsies. Yeah. So then it's another secret relationship. I love the secret relationships written by Elle Kennedy. I love it so much. And yeah, everybody kind of gets mad when people find out, and it's like a whole thing. I check trigger warnings for that one too. Then we have the play. This is a nice little friends to lovers. It is following Hunter this time, and then Demi. Demi has a boyfriend that she's been with since the 8th grade, but she finds out that he's cheating on her. So then they obviously break up, and then she falls in love with Hunter instead, and he just like is the best. Because she like decides that she needs a rebound and is like begging him to be a rebound, but he's like swore off touching any woman because of an incident that happened in the Risk with him accidentally sleeping with someone else's girlfriend and not knowing it, but she ends up convincing him. 5 star. 5 star. I keep forgetting to say rankings. Alrighty, The Dare. Don't talk to me about this book. Like, I know I still have annotations, but I hate this book. I almost said a bad word. I hate this book. This book can burn in a hole. Like, I would throw it into the fireplace. Definitely you can skip this one too, because it doesn't even follow any characters that we've seen before. Like, we saw the boy in this Connor in the play, but before that we had never seen him before. Like, all of the other Briar U characters we had kind of seen before and off campus and stuff, but him, no, we had never seen him until the play. Taylor we had never seen before at all. She's just kind of a part of it because she also just so happens to go to the school, and her mom just so happens to be dating Coach Jensen at the moment, so she ends up being Brenna's stepsister. But that's literally it. And it's so sad too. I'd give this book a 1, but it's so sad too because it started off so strong. Because basically what happens was she is in a sorority and the girls are just mean to her all the time and call her ugly and all of these rude things. And one of the mean girls decided when they were doing Truth or Dare, but with like spin the bottle, where if it lands on you, you have to do a dare. So it isn't Truth or Dare, but just dare. And she gets dared that she has to go up to Connor and like flirt with him and try and seduce him or whatever. So Taylor walks up to him and is just like, okay, I really don't want to do this, but I just got this dare to do whatever. And then he was like, oh, okay, and takes her up to the bedroom and pretends that it actually worked. And Taylor's like, oh, well, they probably followed us back up here, so can we just like make noises and pretend we're doing stuff? So then that's exactly what they did. And then he kept it going after that day. Like, he continued doing it. But then this book just like plop went downhill after that, and it was just really bad, and I hate it. And I could like spend forever talking about the grudge I have against this book, and it put me in a book slump. It was so bad. We have The Dixon Rule, which is the second book from The Graham Effect, and it follows both Gigi's best friend and Ryder's best friend from The Graham Effect. And follows Shane and Diana, and it's enemies to lovers, also fake dating because of her like ex, and it's just like really cute. And they ended up entering a dance competition together. It was so fun. And we got to see a little bit of Gigi and Ryder's wedding in this book, and I just really like it. We got snippets from the off-campus boys as adults. It was just really fun, but I didn't like it anywhere close to as much as The Graham Effect, which is why it's only a 3 stars. So this is the second book, 2000 Boy Kisses. It follows Poppy had 2 younger sisters, one Savannah, one Ida, and then this follows the older one, Savannah, and it's 4 years after Poppy. I guess I'll just say it because everyone probably knows anyway, and I can't explain the plot of this without saying it. It's after Poppy dies from the cancer, and Savannah has to get sent to a camp for grieving teens to help her cope. And she meets this guy, Cal, who's going through stuff because his brother killed himself. And she meets friends. Her and Cal fall in love, and it's just really cute. He calls her Peaches because she's from Georgia, and it's just really adorable. And they both like save each other and help each other live life being happy again. And it's just really cute. And I like it. And that was a 5-star read as well. I had to answer the door, but next book is Beach Read by Emily Henry. This is another book where I don't think I enjoyed it as much as other people did, but I still really liked it. I think if I ever read People We Meet on Vacation, I would like that a lot more. But yeah, this book was fun. It follows Gus and January, and they used to know each other in college, and they meet again when she goes to this beach house that belonged to her father before he died, and starts staying there for the summer, but she doesn't know that it's him, like the same guy from college at first, and he doesn't know it's her either, I don't think. He might have, I don't know. I don't really remember that part. But she doesn't remember it's him, and she finds out it's him when she's at his aunt's, or cousin, I think it's his aunt's, bookstore, and sees his book there because they're both authors, just for different genres. And she's like, wow, he's an author now, and then he walks through the door. And his aunt is like, oh yeah, that's him. And she's like in her head, she's flabbergasted. And yeah. And they also live right next door to each other at this beach with their different beach houses. And they end up talking to each other, communicating through like the doorway. Not doorway, but through the window. Taylor Swift, You Belong With Me music video style, by writing it down on a notebook and just like flashing it like this to each other. And the actual plot of this book is they end up agreeing to switch genres and just learn how to write in the other person's genre. So she's trying to write in historical fiction and he's trying to write in romance. But by doing that, they have to take each other to places, like settings, to be able to figure things out. And they end up falling in love. And it's cute. Whew, we're almost done. I can't wait. Okay. Girl Abroad by Elle Kennedy. Like I said, all Elle Kennedy books are spicy, but this one isn't as spicy, but it still is. So, spicy. This one's a 2-star for me. Beach Read was a 2.5 star, by the way. But now I kind of feel bad. I don't know. But basically, this book is just Exo Kitty, but in book form. But she's going abroad to London, not Korea. And that's pretty much just the plot of the book. There's a love triangle between one of her roommates that she got paired with, because she got paired with dudes. And she just doesn't want her dad to know, so it's like a secret. And it's like a whole thing. It's drama-filled. Her roommate, Jack, taught her how to drive on the other side of the road. That was cute. And then the Nate, the guitar, which is the other guy, had a girlfriend and kind of cheated on his girlfriend. Yeah, I didn't really like either one of the guys in this book. They were kind of boring, and I don't know, the book was just kind of boring overall. I don't really care about it, but anyway, Boys of Tommen. I'm so excited. Sorry, I got like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay, so basically I had taken a pause for school from reading any books. So this was the first thing I had read in a while. And it was the best thing I could have possibly read. Anyways, when I was doing the list, that's what made me realize that I've read so many books since Boys of Tommen. But I'm still not even anywhere close to moving on. I can't even pick them up. They're so heavy. Look at them. They're so annotated. I love them. Okay. Whew. So, for this one, it's the same thing, like follows friend group kind of thing again. Except this time it's 2 books per couple instead of 1. And they're really long, but it's okay because then you still want more. And trigger warnings for the series especially. I am warning you right now. They are very sad. So, Finding 13, Shannon and Johnny. Shannon lives in a broken household. She's been getting bullied her entire life. Johnny is a very popular, famous rugby player. And it's such a cliche, but I love it so much and I eat it up. Basically, she starts at Tommen because she was getting so bullied at BCS, the public school. And on her first day, he accidentally knocks her in the head with a rugby ball and she falls to the ground because she's really tiny, and helps her, takes her to the nurse, and they're like in love right away. But they still don't even get together in this book. like this 600 something pages, they're not together yet. Second book, they're finally together and in love, and I can't really say much of what happens because then it will spoil it for you. Just read these books. Unless it's something that triggers you when you look up the trigger warnings, then don't read the book, but otherwise you need to read the series. Every book is a 5-star. Every book is perfection. There's nothing wrong with any of them. Saving 6 follows My Husband, which is Shannon's older brother, Joey Lynch, and his girlfriend Aoife. And so the first 2 books take place in 2005 from January to May. Then here we backtrack to August 30th, 1999 on Joey's first day of secondary school when he meets his girlfriend Aoife for the first time. We just get to see them grow, and this book ends right before when Binding 13 starts. And we just get to see them and their relationship develop when they're younger. And it's really cute. And then here is just a big old book. This one's even bigger than the other ones, but it was so worth it and I love it so much. And this takes place during the same time frame as Binding 13, a little bit before and a little bit after. Binding and Keeping 13, actually. And we just get to see Shannon and Johnny fall in love again through Joey's eyes, but also see him and Aoife dealing with their own personal struggles and things like that. And I'm just not going to tell you anything because no spoilers. And I just love it so much. And the rereadability of these books is amazing. Like, since I just read them a few months ago, I haven't reread them yet, but I already know that it's amazing because, like, things overlap and you're just like, if you have read the book, you understand. Taming 7 follows Claire and Gypsy, Shannon's best friend and Johnny's best friend. They have also known each other their entire lives. They've always been in love with each other. And then he just keeps flirting with other girls, making her upset because he's scared. And just, they finally get together. But it's also not all sunshine and rainbows. People have trauma. And it's just so much drama and sadness again. Then I read Promises We're Meant to Keep. This was, I didn't put my, oh, never mind, I did it, 2.75. I didn't really like this book that much. And it is a part of the Lancaster Prep series, but this is the only one I've read. I don't remember which book this is. Like, which number book, I don't know. You'll just have to look it up. But it follows Sylvie and Spencer. They were together in high school. It is brother's best friend, but we don't even really get to see her brother, so there's no, like, brother getting mad or anything, because they were together before anyways. But basically, her mother is the worst. She sucks. She absolutely sucks. Tried to poison her entire life, and it's like a thing. And her mother also sets her up to marry this, like, guy who's, like, 50 years old. Or 70, either one. And so they do that, but then he ends up dying. She thinks it's her fault, blaming herself. But also, right before she got married to this guy, she decided she was going to lose her virginity to Spencer because she didn't want to lose it to the old guy. And this would just be like her last chance. So she did that. They didn't see each other for a couple more years after that when the husband died, and then they just fall back in love. And it's kind of cute. I'm sure I would have liked it better if I read the other books in the series and saw them together when they were in high school, because her brother does have a book, and I'm pretty sure you get to see Sylvie and Spencer be in a relationship in high school in that book, but I wouldn't know because I've never read it, so. But we do get glimpses and pieces of the other couples in that book, so. And then I read the sequel to Better Than the Movies, nothing like the movies, and this follows them in college. But it is, I hate that I have the hardcover, but it is a second chance romance because they ended up breaking up because his dad died. And it was like, he just couldn't deal with it anymore and just broke up with her and pretended to cheat on her, and it was like a whole thing. And so this book is just them falling back in love because she decides to fake date her guy best friend to make Wes jealous. And it's just like really drama filled, and I like it. And he's trying to get back into baseball, getting his life back together. She is a photographer for the baseball team, so they have to see each other all the time, like forced proximity, and it's like a thing. So, and this was a 4-star for me. I did really like it. A lot of people said they hated it, but I thought that it was fun, and I also really loved how she kept trying to downplay that her and Wes didn't even like each other that much, but then she got like exposed. The Striker by Anna Hong. This follows Asher Donovan, who we saw in Twisted Hate because he went on a date with Jules and it made Josh mad. And now he has his own book. This is going to be a series, but this is the only one out right now. And it is really thick. And it didn't really take me that long to read it either, though. And you've noticed my annotations have gone down a lot because I'm trying to not do as much, no matter how much I like the book. And so I kind of like that I'm doing that so far. Asher Donovan. He is a football player, which is our soccer if you're American. And he's just like really famous. But he hates one of his teammates, Vincent, so much with a passion, and they're always trying to sabotage each other, and it's affecting the team. So their coach is like, okay, you guys need to do some bonding. So during this whole summer, you guys are going to be taking a dance class together at the studio. Except the woman who not owns the dance studio, but is going to be teaching them is Vincent's little sister, Scarlett. And Vincent ends up having to leave halfway through the dancing lessons to take care of their father. So it just leaves Asher and Scarlett by themselves and they fall in love. And just this book was really good. I gave it a 4-star. And I just really like it. And it brought me back to the Twisted series because we did get some mentions and appearances from some of our Twisted characters in here. And I really liked it. Super spicy. Boys of Tommen had spice in it too, though. A little bit. Like, it is technically YA, but there is a little bit of it in there. Then I listened to the audiobook. This is going to be even harder for me to describe what the books are about because I don't have them with me. But I listened to the audiobooks of the Dream Harbor series, except my ordering was all out of whack because the actual order is the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, Christmas Tree Farm. I did Christmas Tree Farm, Pumpkin Spice Cafe, Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. But basically, the Pumpkin Spice Cafe follows Jeannie and Logan, and she has recently moved to take over her aunt's Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And she sees Logan when he's trying to bring vegetables and stuff because he's a farmer, and she attacks him thinking it's a ghost because she's been hearing noises anyway. And she asks him if that's the noises, if he's been the noises she's been hearing, and he's like, no. So then they decide to do, like, ghost hunting together, and they just, like, spend a lot of time together, and they have, like, feelings for each other right away. But the problem there is that he has trust issues. He is scared because he proposed to a girl in front of the whole town, and she said no because she was planning on moving out of there. So he's just kind of paranoid in that way. And then the Cinnamon Bookstore follows Hazel and Noah, which we saw a lot of in the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And they are going on an adventure because she, in the bookstore, has been getting clues that lead her to go to different places. And they decide that they're going to go to these different places together and have a rambunctious summer together before she turns 30. And they're also going to try and figure out who's doing it and also have sex. So this series is spicy as well. That one was the spiciest out of the 3, though. And I also honestly, first book was a 4-star. Second book was a 3-star. I was getting kind of bored at that point. And then Christmas Tree Farm was my favorite, a 4-star though, but more like a 4.5. And that one was Kira moved and was owning the Christmas Tree Farm, and Bennett, who is Jeannie's brother, is there for the holidays for the first time, and they just meet each other at the farm, and he just like keeps trying to help her with her like plumbing issues and all these things she has wrong with the house, but he just also doesn't think it's a good idea because he's used to girls using him for his wanting to help needs. So it's like a whole thing of them trying to get together. And it's like a whole like, well, he's moving back after the holidays are over with, so what's the point kind of thing. But He Had Been With Me. If He Had Been With Me is a really sad book about Finny and Autumn, who are childhood friends to lovers, but with a twist because it's childhood friends to enemies to lovers technically. because they fell apart in 8th grade because he kissed her out of nowhere, and it's like a whole thing. And she has a boyfriend, Jamie, but still has feelings for Finney, and he has a girlfriend, Sylvie, but is in love with Autumn, and it's like a whole thing. And finally, her and Jamie break up. Her and Finney get close again. This is after they graduate high school. He decides he's gonna finally go and break up with Sylvie, but on the way to pick her up, he dies. He gets hit by a car and he dies. So he never makes it back to Autumn, and it's so sad, and it makes me want to throw it across the room. I know it sounds like I'm spoiling it, but it tells you on page 1 that he dies, and 2, I feel like everyone has to know that by now. If you're on TikTok, you know. Now, these 2 books, Mr. Wrong Number and Holiday Romance, I read pretty much at the same time, but I started Mr. Wrong Number first by Lynn Painter. And this was a really good book. It was really cute, and I just really like the premise. 4.75 because it's not perfect, but I still loved it so much. And it follows Colin and Olivia, and it is brother's best friend. And Olivia burned down her apartment by burning her ex's love letters when she found out he cheated on her. So then she has to move in with her brother, and Colin is her brother's roommate. And so then they have to live together and deal with each other, and they kind of hate each other in real life. But then, outside of, like, knowing each other, they're also texting each other without knowing it, because he texted a number, thought it was this girl that he met, "What are you wearing?" And then they just ended up texting each other back and forth, and were kind of catching feelings for each other and talking dirty to each other as these other people. And he actually found out it was her quite early, because it was like page 80 when he found out that it was her. So that was kind of unexpected. And she didn't find out it was him until like the end of the book. And of course they had to fight and get all mad, second act break up because of it. But it's okay. That's like the only thing that was kind of annoying. But really good book. I really, really, really liked it. They were very cute. The premise was amazing. Speaking of premises being amazing, Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh. I only picked this one up because it's Ireland and they're Irish. Basically, one year, they ended up on a plane next to each other. And it was a big coincidence because her best friend was dating him and was planning to break up with him a little bit later. So it was kind of weird with her knowing that her best friend was cheating on him and having to get along with him, but it was fine. And then they ended up sitting next to each other again the year after that. Funny coincidence. And then after that year, they decided they were just going to meet in the airport and they were going to hang out together, but on purpose this time. So then this book actually takes place the 10th year anniversary of them doing this, and their flight gets canceled, so they have to go on this entire adventure for them to make it home in time for Christmas, while also realizing they are in love with each other. And it was just really cute, and I loved it. Then, I just finished this book yesterday. If You Could See the Sun. I gave this a 3 just because it was less than what I was expecting it to be and wanting it to be, but it was still good. This follows Alice Sun, and she is going to this international private school in Beijing, but her parents can't afford it anymore, so she's like stressed out, doesn't want to have to move schools, but it's just not gonna work. And then she also has her academic rival who's getting on her nerves, Henry, and they end up being academic rivals to lovers, and it was really cute. Honestly though, this book had more of like the actual plot of this book than the actual romance. Like, romance where? Like, there was romance, but there wasn't enough for me to be satisfied, which is why it's a 3. Basically, the actual plot I was mentioning that it focuses on more than the romance was that she randomly starts to become physically invisible, and she can't control it. But Henry gives her the idea that she should make the best of it. So then she comes up with the idea to make this app that's going to get her money to continue with her schooling as well. And she gets Henry to make it for her, so then they're business partners. And it's called Beijing Ghost. And she ends up having to do all these tasks for people, and they pay her however much money based off of how hard the task is. But then at the end of the book, things go horribly wrong. But they did have some cute moments. I think the bonus scenes that I read on Anne Liang's website, well, not on her website, but I found online somewhere, just from looking up bonus scenes from If You Could See the Sun, were cuter than their scenes in the actual book. But maybe that's just me. But they also weren't even together until the very end. So, that's all of the books that I've actually read in 2024. So now we just need to talk about the ones I'm currently in the middle of. So first, I have Dark Romeo. And this one I've actually kind of gotten bored of it. So I've decided I'm not going to force myself to read it. I'm just going to read it when I want to, and it's kind of like, I'm not DNFing it, but I'm also just not really going to read it if I don't want to. So, basically it follows Romeo and Dallas, and they are at a debutante ball together, and they meet, and he decides that he wants them to go in the rose garden, and they're going to kiss and do a little bit more than that also. But then, something happens. I'm not going to tell you what to spoil it, but something happens, and then to save their family's reputations, they have to get married. And she hates it. She hates his guts, and she just really doesn't want to marry him, but they're forced into having to be married. And I don't know if they're going to actually be in love at some point, but I'm assuming so, and I hope so, because I'd be kind of sad if they weren't. Now, we have Hate Mail. This book is so good. I love it so far, and the premise, again, so good. Kind of reminds me of Yours Truly, and like Mr. Wrong Number a little bit, but not really. And basically, it follows, I was about to say Nomeo, that's not right, Naomi and Luca. When they were in 5th grade, their schools in different states were doing pen pals, so they got assigned to be each other's pen pal. But they ended up sending each other hate emails because he was in a grumpy mood when this started and he thought it was stupid. So he just sent a bunch of insults to her instead of something nice. So then that became like their thing. And they still continued to do it. Even in adulthood, they started flirting with each other a little bit too. Instead of just being mean, we're starting to catch just a little bit of feelings. But then mysteriously after he gets married, he stops sending letters. But then 2 years after that, when the book takes place, she mysteriously gets another one from him, but with no return address. So now she and her friend Anne have to pretend, well, Annie, not Anne, right? Yeah, Annie has to go on an adventure and try and figure out what his new address is so she can write him back. And it's just really cute when we get little flashbacks of when they were in high school writing to each other and his point of view, and it's just so good. I love it. And I can definitely see this being a 5-star read for sure. So, that's the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, even though it was kind of a mess and I don't really know what I was talking about. And my descriptions of the book I already know sucked so bad. But I hope just that it was a good video. Anyways, bye!